Year 3, welcome to your English lesson today. So, at the beginning of this lesson today, we've got some retrieval questions for you to do. These are on your worksheet. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video here and have a go at filling these out. So the first one is to punctuate the sentence below so it's correct. The second one is to complete the sentence below. The third one is to underline the fronted adverbial used in the sentence below. And the last one is to complete the sentence using an appropriate fronted adverbial. Pause the video. Have a go now. Okay, welcome back. Now I'm not going to mark those today because I know that you're going to pick different ones. So we're going to leave that until you send your work in to mark. But so let's carry on with our lesson. So today we're going to be planning a short narrative, and a narrative is a story. So we're going to be thinking about, again, our Egyptian pyramid story. Okay, we have done lots and lots of work around that now. We have written scenes, we have created expanded noun phrases, we have thought about fronted adverbials that we're going to use, we have used lots and lots and lots of different literacy devices there to help us ready to now write this story. So we are ready to go. So to be successful though today, you are going to use your story mounting map effectively. So we're going to talk through that. You're going to plan using the OBDRE, and I'm going to explain what that is shortly. You're going to plan your expanded noun phrases that you're going to use in your story, and you're going to plan your fronted adverbials that you're going to use. Now, you're not going to write the story today. This is your planning day, okay? Writing the story will happen tomorrow. Today is your planning day. So here is your story mounting, okay? Your story mounting now is going to help you organise your ideas and work out what needs to go where, and you will use this then to look at and think, that part went in that section, that part went in that section. So what we're going to use is this OBDRE. So the O is the opening, the introduction. Okay, what happened at the start of the Egyptian pyramid story? Okay, well, we know that the man found the cartouche, didn't he? Firstly, he was gently and delicately brushing away the sand, and then he saw the glistening azure blue in the sand, and he picked it up. So that's what was happening at the beginning. We're going to talk about that a little bit more detail in a minute. Then the build-up. So what was happening in the build-up to the story? Well, let's have a little think. Well, he found the cartouche. He pressed the buttons. That was in the build-up, wasn't it? Because then it came out of the ground. And then when he turned around with the camel, that's when the steps came down. Yeah? So that was the build-up there. He walked up to the steps. He walked into the pyramid, and the door shut. What do you think that part is now? That's right, it's the problem, it's the dilemma. This is the D part. The dilemma is him stuck now in that pyramid. Then the camel, I love the camel, he's so funny. The really chilled, relaxed camel decided to have a bit of a chew on it, didn't he, of the cartouche? And that's when the Sphinx's head started to turn all around, do you remember? So, but the problem is though, the archaeologist was inside the pyramid. What's he going to do? So this is where then you'll have to start thinking about, if you were the archaeologist and you were stuck in there, how would you get out? Because you're stuck. What are you going to do? What happened to you in there? We just don't know. This is part of where you are going to create a story about it. And then we get to the resolution. That's where the problem has been solved. Okay, so the problem got solved because the camel started to chew on the cartouche. After it swapped all around with the different faces, it went back into the ground, didn't it? And the man, do you remember the bricks opened very slowly and they popped the man out? That was the resolution. That's how he got out of the pyramid. But what happened when he was in there? That's part of the problem. But the resolution was he was popped back out again. And then the ending was where they both stood there looking a little bit shocked. What happened there? So that's the kind of end, wasn't it? They were a bit shocked. They couldn't believe what had happened. They couldn't believe their eyes, really, could they? So what you're going to do today is you're going to plan. Now, you do not write full sentences in your plan. A plan is not writing full sentences. A plan is using your expanded noun phrases that you've already started to have a go at to put into this here. All right, so let me show you. So we're thinking about it. We're going to think about each part of the story. All right, so you've got your plan on your worksheets there. So I want you to start thinking about then what happens in each part of the story. So I've started to plan a couple of bits out here for you. Okay, so we've got the beginning, the opening, then we've got build up, and then we've got the resolution. We're going to talk about those little bits. I'm going to show you two parts of it, and then you're going to have a go at finishing the rest of your plan. But let me show you what I want you to do. So like I said, not sentences. We're not writing the story today. Today we are just writing the plan. So no sentences. The story will come later. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to move my camera picture to there because then I'm in the middle there. Okay, so here in the opening we had the two characters, didn't we? So that's my first part of my story opening. All right, so we had the archaeologist. He was sun-beaten face and he was dust covered, and he had a wrinkly linen shirt where he'd rolled up his sleeves to get into the sand. He was very careful and meticulous, wasn't he? He wasn't just like scraping the sand everywhere. He was very careful, very carefully sweeping it. And then we had the noisy, smelly, matted camel. He was a little bit grumpy and actually seemed a little bit bored, didn't he? He really did. Okay, so that's the discussion of the characters there. Then when we go into the setting where it was happening, what was happening there, it was in the scorching, glistening midday sun. And that was starting to cast mirages. Now, a mirage is where your eyes play tricks on you, and you think you see something in the heat, but you don't really. It's not really there. It's just your eyes playing tricks, and that's a mirage when your eyes plays tricks on you. And the sky was cloudless, wasn't it? And when we looked out of that little pit that he was in, it was just sand for miles and miles, as far as the eye could see. Just sand. Now, it was dusty and it was arid. Now, arid means there's nothing else growing there. It's empty. So in the dusty, arid excavation pit. And then we had the towering, majestic pyramid. And we had the dazzling, mystical, cobalt blue cartouche peeking from the sand, didn't we? Now, the show not tell that we're going to use there is wiping beads of sweat from his brow. And what does that tell us? If he's wiping beads of sweat from his brow, so it tells us that he's really hot, doesn't it? It tells us that sweaty, hot work that he's doing there, and he's getting a bit roasting and a bit baking in the midday sun. And when he saw that cartouche, he let out a gasp, didn't he? But we didn't. It wasn't written that he saw the cartouche on the floor. It was as he saw the dazzling colour of the cartouche. He was shocked, wasn't he? And we're not saying that. We just know that by seeing what he's doing. We saw that he goes, and his eyes were wide open. And that's the next part. His eyes widened at lay in front of him, and his mouth fell open. Okay. Now, some of the fronted adverbials that we're going to use for the opening potentially could be deep in the small arid excavation pit, the archaeologist, and then you can finish your sentence. Below the scorching sun, the man. Carefully and slowly he picked up. So this part here is how I'm going to start my opening. Now, for the next bit, I've kept the characters pretty much the same because we don't have anyone else that arrives, do we, really? In your story, if you wanted to, a little bit later on, when the man goes into the pyramid, you might want to add in another character, but that's totally up to you. We can talk about that a bit later on. So if we look back at our story mountain here, we've kind of talked about this bit here now, haven't we? Now we need to move on to the build-up. Okay, so I'm going to just share a little bit of that with you, and then I'm going to let you have a go at doing the rest of it by yourself. And then we're going to come back together just to go through a checklist. So in the build-up, I've still got the same characters there, but the setting has changed a little bit now, hasn't it? Because the pyramid has come out of the ground, and I've changed the show not tell, and I've changed the fronted adverbials because a different scene now. Okay, so the setting, we've got rumbling and shaking ground, and then we had the enormous stone mystical sphinx that came up, and the sphinx is the face that we saw there. And I liked as well that it had detailed and delicate carvings on the stone structure. And also, as it came out, the sand started to vibrate, didn't it? So we could see that happening, the vibrating sand. Now, we talked about earlier in the last one that the man, his eyes were wide open and his mouth fell open. Now here, he was as still as a statue, frozen. But we know he can't be frozen because it's too hot there. So the show not tell there, if he was as still as a statue, that's telling us that he's either really frightened, really scared, or not sure what to do. He's a bit like that, wasn't he? Just looking up. And the camel kind of stood to attention, because before the camel was quite relaxed, just having a chew like that, wasn't he? And then he kind of stopped and he sat up a bit. So he kind of stood to attention, didn't he? So instead of saying that the camel looked at the pyramid coming out of the ground, the camel stood to attention. That's telling us that camel is fixed, looking at something really important. And then also the man kind of stumbled back a little bit. Oh, wow, as it came out of the ground. Now here we've got as well, in the fronted adverbials, peeking over the top of the arid excavation pit, under the shadow of the gigantic sphinx. Cautiously and gradually he walked towards. So now what I'd like you to have a go at, children, is I want you to have a go at your own story mountain. So I want you to go to your story map here, and I want you to have a go at writing your own problem. Have a go at writing your own builder. Remember, it's not sentences. You are just writing expanded noun phrases, but making sure you're having that list of your character, the setting, what's happening, your show not tell what you want in that section, and your fronted adverbials. So all the elements that we've been looking at over these last few weeks, you're now putting it together, ready for your story, ready for your narrative. Okay? Really important. So I want you to start with the opening and then your build up. If I go back, okay? Then have a go at your problem, your resolution, and your conclusion. Okay, so your conclusion is your ending. All right, so I'd like you just to have a go at doing that now. Okay, and now I do have a checklist that I've got for you. I've put this on to your worksheet. But what I'd like you to do is you're going to pause the video now. You're going to have a go at going to do your story mountain map. But I'd like you to come back so we can just go through this together and you can check it. Okay, so pause the video, have a go at your writing and come back to me. Okay then, welcome back. So I want you to go through your plan here and check, have you got all of these things included in your writing to make your writing really successful? Remember, you shouldn't have written in sentences. You're just writing expanded noun phrases right now. So check that for me, Year 3, and make sure that you have it in your writing, and then you will be successful for tomorrow's lesson. Okay, now you take care now, Year 3, and I shall see you very soon. Take care now.